And so we'll wait a couple minutes while some more of our friends are joining before we get started today, you guys.
That's right. Julie's clock has been keeping us on track now for an entire year.
Thank you.
Good job, Julie.
Morning.
You're right, Elaine. It has become quite famous. Hello, Jimmy. I see that you're here. I just don't see your face yet.
My friend Jimmy's here. Yay.
Your friend Jimmy's here. That's right.
There he is.
There he is, the man of the hour. Hello, Jimmy.
Hello.
Hey, Jimmy.
Oh, I have some good news.
Please share.
I am now 35. I officially had 35,000 out, 3,500 hours at Erlanger.
Whoa, Rachel.
Thanks, Rachel.
That's a lot of hours.
Mm-hmm.
That's something to be super proud of.
And how long have you been at Erlanger?
Almost 8 years.
Wow.
Well, they're lucky to have you, Rachel.
And it was nice. It was nice to get back to it after a year.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
I'm doing 4 hours.
You're doing 4 hours, Emily? Where?
Create Discover.
Girl, one of my favorite places.
Mm-hmm.
I've been working at the school for 24 hours.
Julie.
24 what?
And how long have you been there, Julie?
24 years.
What? Girl, you're not old
24
enough to work
years.
for 24 years.
Wow.
Well, I work at
Oh,
Create
yes, I
Discover.
have.
When I was at MAB and don't volunteer.
Well, that is quite an accomplishment.
It certainly is. And once you reach 25, especially, for some reason, we really like to celebrate those 5-year marks. You'll have to have
Oh,
a big
yeah.
party,
I'm
Julie.
Yeah, I need to. I can buy art every time.
Oh, man, that'd be fun.
Count me in.
Yeah.
Same.
They
Samesies.
will. And.
Well, crew, I think that it's time for us to get started.
Yeah.
I see a lot of our usual explorer faces here on the Zoom call. So without further ado, we are very excited today to explore not just one place in the world, but 7 very important places in the modern world with our 7 wonders, 7 modern wonders.
Cool.
So you will see myself, Elaine, Matthew, and Catherine will all speak to 1 or 2 of these different sites in the world.
3.
And then as you see things that are really cool, we want to hear what you think about it. We want to know what you like, what you think you might be interested in learning more about in the future, and we'll just explore together.
Awesome.
It looks like we have a few people with some delayed connections. And just so you know, we'll record this so you can check it out later on our YouTube channel if you miss anything because of a connection. But we will have a few short videos to show through the meeting. Sometimes that can get glitchy. Just let us know if you're having problems with it. And feel free to use the chat box too. Otherwise, I'm going to pull up just the beginning of this little slideshow that we have so you can see where they are in the world. You know, we like to see wherever it is that we're exploring in the world related to where we are in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Okay.
Okay. The 7 wonders of the modern world. So a fun fact for you guys is that these 7 wonders don't always stay the same. The ones that we have right now have been there since 2007. So it was different before then. And these are the 7 that we're going to talk about today. Starting over here close to us. Of course, here we are in this area of the United States. We have Chichen Itza in Mexico. We have Machu Picchu in Peru. Christ the Redeemer in Brazil. The Colosseum in Italy.
Ooh, Colosseum.
In Jordan. The Taj Mahal in India. And the Great Wall of China in China. You guessed it. So what we want to start with is just a little video that goes over all 7 of these. So this is ironically 7 minutes long. I think they did that on purpose. But that's where we'll start today, and then we'll dive into the details of each one as we keep going with the meeting. So before I do that, does anyone have any questions?
I've been to one of the 7 wonders.
Which one, Rachel?
The one in Mexico.
Chichen Itza.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very
Well, when we
cool.
get to that point, if you have anything to share, we'd love to hear.
It's like okay.
Okay.
I haven't been to any of the others, but that one.
Okay. Well, you be thinking about anything you want to add in that we might miss because we haven't been there yet. Okay. Get ready. It's like a little bit of a afternoon movie. 7 minutes of it.
I like movies.
Actually, I have it right here.
Ooh.
Oh. You know, they like to play some little ads before we get there.
Mm-mm.
In 2007, more than 100 million people voted to declare the new 7 wonders of the world.
Ooh.
The
Colosseum.
following list of 7 winners is presented without ranking and aims to present global heritage. Great Wall of China. Built between the 5th century BC and the 16th century, the Great Wall of China is a stone and earth fortification created to protect the borders of the Chinese Empire from invading Mongols. The Great Wall is actually a succession of multiple walls spanning approximately 4,000 miles, making it the world's longest man-made structure.
Wow. Look at the mountains. Oh. Look at that. The architecture.
The Roman Colosseum, Rome. Built between 70 AD and 80 AD,
Colosseum.
it was
Cool.
used for some 500 years. The elliptical structure sat nearly 50,000 spectators who gathered to watch the gladiatorial events as well as other public spectacles, including
That's
battle
cool.
reenactments, animal hunts, and executions. Earthquakes and stone robbers have left the Colosseum in a state of ruin, but portions of the structure remain open to tourists, and its design still influences the construction of modern-day amphitheaters some 2,000 years later.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Christ the Redeemer statue, Rio de Janeiro. Christ the Redeemer statue has been looming over the Brazilians from upon Corcovado Mountain in an awe-inspiring state of eternal blessing since 1931. The 130-foot reinforced concrete and soapstone statue was designed by Heitor da Silva Costa and cost approximately $250,000 to build. The statue has become an easily recognized icon for Rio and Brazil. Machu Picchu, Peru. Machu Picchu, an Incan city of sparkling granite precariously perched between two towering Andean peaks, is thought by scholars to have been a sacred archaeological center for the nearby Incan capital of Cusco. Built at the peak of the Incan Empire in the mid-1400s, this mountain citadel was later abandoned by the Incas. The site remained unknown except to locals until 1911, when it was rediscovered by archaeologist Hiram Bingham. Taj Mahal, Agra, India. A mausoleum commissioned for the wife of Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan, the Taj Mahal was built between 1632 and 1648. The white marble structure represents a number of architectural styles, including Persian, Islamic, Turkish, and Indian. The Taj Mahal also encompasses formal gardens of raised pathways, sunken flower beds, and a linear reflecting pool. Chichen Itza, Yucatan Peninsula, Mexico. The genius and adaptability of Mayan culture can be seen in the splendid ruins of Chichen Itza. This powerful city, a trading center for cloth, slaves, honey, and salt, flourished from approximately 800 to 1200 and acted as the political and economic hub of the Mayan civilization. The most familiar ruin at the site is El Caracal, a sophisticated astronomical observatory. Petra, Jordan. Declared a World Heritage Site in 1985, Petra was the capital of the Nabatean Empire of King Aretas IV. The members of this civilization proved to be early experts in manipulating water technology, constructing intricate tunnels and water chambers, which helped create an pseudo-oasis. A number of incredible structures carved into stone, a 4,000-seat amphitheater, and the El Dir Monastery have also helped the site earn its fame.
Okay, there it is, our overview of the 7 modern wonders. So we are going to break these down one by one, and we're starting in a part of the world that's pretty far from where we are here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and that is with the Great Wall of China.
Yeah.
So you have our tour guide here, Elaine, which, fun fact for all of you, Elaine has actually been to China And I think you'll see in one of our pictures that she made it over to the Great Wall herself.
That is true. So you guys, as Michelle is going to pull up a couple of fun pictures and facts about the Great Wall, I'll tell you that in 2008, I got to go to the Paralympics over in Beijing. So a lot of the time was spent going to the games, right? The different competitions, and not as much doing touristy stuff. But one of the cool things that we got to do was to go to a section of the Great Wall. So as you saw in the video, right, it's super long, right? And you can see in these pictures, the one at the top right with all those different color lines. Basically, those are all different sections of the wall. So it's not just one straight line, right? It kind of goes in all different areas. And part of that was because the Great Wall was built to keep out, basically to keep out nomads. So to keep out people that they didn't want coming into those areas. So you can actually see kind of an older picture down at the bottom left where somebody's drawn this. So this isn't a real picture, but it kind of shows the Great Wall. And on one side, there's people trying to come over. And the other side, they're fighting them to keep them out. So a cool thing about this, though, is if you took note in the video that it is the longest man-made structure in the world. Okay, so and what's really, really cool is that it is over 13,000 miles long. 13,000.
Oh,
So that's a lot of miles.
Yeah.
And so basically, something that I learned was that if you were to walk the whole thing, it would take you 175 days of nonstop walking. That's a long
No
time.
way.
wow.
I hear that, Julie. That would take you a long time. Or
Our legs
over,
would be sore.
I know, right? Or over 4,000 hours of walking.
Yikes.
Oh.
I know. So that's a lot of hours, you guys. So let's move on to the next slide.
Oh, Elaine, my mom went there in the 80s.
Oh, yeah. Michelle, you can go ahead and go to the next one. Well, that's really cool. And so I'm going to just tell you guys a couple other fun facts, but so you can see that they have different sections of the wall, right? Since it's not just one continuous line, even though it kind of looks like it in these pictures. But this is just one section of it, right? So this is the Badaling section. And these pictures are actually a few pictures from when I was there, right? And so you can see how crowded it is, right? There are a lot of tourists that come to check out these sections.
You mean like this lady right here, Elaine?
That's me. that is just like that.
Very nice.
So you guys, one of the pictures from that video showed you some of the wall that's not maintained anymore, right? So they can't maintain all of it because it's so long, but these are obviously well maintained and bring in a lot of visitors. So we'll watch just a couple minutes of this video to tell us a little bit more, and you'll get to see the different, you'll get to see some of the sections that are not maintained. While this woman is, she's kind of doing some different hiking today, so.
Okay.
You know what I think is probably one of the best things about living in Beijing? Being able to just casually go on day hikes to the Great Wall of China. So while we hike, I want to give you 10 facts, 10 things that you might not know about the Great Wall.
You hear it?
So one of the biggest misconceptions about the wall is it's just one long, uninterrupted structure. Actually, the Great Wall is made up of many, many sections and isn't just one wall, and all built in different historical periods. So the original purpose of the wall was to keep out nomadic tribes, but it wasn't always successful in keeping out invasions. Despite the huge and varied efforts that went into making the Great Wall a defense system, it suffered various incursions throughout its history. The Mongols, led by Genghis Khan, was able to breach the Great Wall and subjugated North and Central China for almost 100 years. And the Manchurian invasion of the Great Wall in the 17th century actually led to the fall of the Ming Dynasty. Okay, I just want to clear something up real quick. You cannot, despite urban legend, actually see the Great Wall from space. Let's just put that in perspective. Seeing the Great Wall from space would be the equivalent of seeing a hair from 2 miles away. Not to say that the wall isn't big though. It's the longest man-made structure in the world with a length of over 21,000 kilometers. That's actually more than half the length of the equator. And now on a more somber note, the Great Wall is actually known as the longest cemetery on Earth. In 2,500 years of construction on this project, over 1 million people, 1 million labourers were used. And in the course of that work, over 400,000 people lost their lives. And it's said that their remains actually buried within the Great Wall itself.
So unfortunately, we do not have enough time to watch the whole thing, but that was very validating for some of what Elaine had told us before.
That's because we have ran out of time, everybody.
That's right, Jimmy. We want to make sure that we get to all of our 7 wonders today. But you guys, there's really cool stuff that you can see if you want to do some research on your own more about the Great Wall. So that was number 1.
Thank you, Elaine. And now up next, Chichen Itza.
Tired.
Ooh.
All right, Rachel, I'm going to spotlight you with me so that you can add in any fun facts that you have. So if you have that thumbnail open on the side, everyone, you should be able to see Rachel and I as we go through this. Chichen Itza, what you can see here in the map, is located in Mexico on the Yucatan Peninsula. I may not be pronouncing that completely right, but what we know of Mexico here, it's further down and then here into the sea.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a great port for a lot of commerce at its time. And from the video, we had heard that Chichen Itza was created around 600 AD. So it's been around for quite a while. Not as long as the Wall of China, though, which was more, from what we know, 700 BC or BCE. But what was Chichen Itza? If you look into Google and you do a Google image search, you'll see this structure right here most often. But this is not Chichen Itza. Chichen Itza itself is the entire area. It's like a small city that you can see in this map. This pyramid that you see is El Castillo, and it's here in the middle of that area of Chichen Itza. Rachel, do you have anything that you want to add from your time there?
It sure is big. It's very large. The coolest thing is that you can see the stadium where they play their what they preferred as to basketball hoops.
Ow.
It's so cool. It was very hot, so we didn't stay long.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up. So one of the really important things about Chichen Itza is that it is said to have easy access to water. That they're really the meaning behind the name Chichen Itza, it's in the Mayan language meaning at the mouth of the well of the Itza. And the Itza were the people that lived here. And there are a number of underground rivers that were underneath this region. and served as a great source of water for the city. So I have a little video to show you on Chichen Itza, and we'll probably just watch a part of it so that we don't run out of time.
When my mom was there last, before she had kids, you could actually walk up the steps, but they don't do that anymore because they don't allow that because it's too dangerous.
That's right. I remember seeing that in my research, Rachel, and that there's one other structure, I think close by in the region, that you are able to walk up, and it's quite tall. You may know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't. I don't really.
Well, sounds like it's another exploration topic for another day. So here we go with just a short little video of Chichen Itza in Yucatan, Mexico.
Chichen Itza was an amazing city of the Maya. What we see now, it's the civic and religious part of it. So we can tell these buildings were sacred. El Castillo, or Temple of Kukulkan. It's an amazing building based on astronomical and mathematical science. I've been leading a team of archaeologists and researchers to explore the underground water system below Chichen Itza for several years. The Great Maya Aquifer project is a very ambitious exploration with the aims of knowing this huge amount of water that lays under the ground. The aquifer was sacred because it contained water. Water became a religious concept for them as well. Cenotes are the collapse of caverns, holes in the ground that we see, and we can access the aquifer. Cenotes were super important for the Maya because they are part of the underworld. We have heard for a long time the oral tradition of the elder that the El Castillo was built over a cavern or cenote. But we also have scientific proof of that. What we know north, south, east, and west for the ancient Maya were 4 directions of the universe. They had a 5th direction that we don't use on our cardinal points, which is the center, the axis mundi. They believe everything were created from that center. They center themselves in the cosmos. We have been working very hard on trying to find an entrance to this 5th direction of the Maya universe, trying to find an underground pathway that we can dive to this cenote. What I want to achieve, it's a much better knowledge, not only finding amazing sites, which is of course a very nice part of our project, but to understand better the life of the Maya through the Great Maya Aquifer, through the caves, through everything they do under the ground.
So as we see there, water was a huge, very symbolic thing for the Mayan people, as well as just something that we need in life. As we well know, we need lots of water for life to run smoothly. Thank you, Rachel.
Welcome.
Okay, up next, Petra.
All right, I believe I take it over from here. So the Petra is another one of the 7 wonders of the world in Jordan in the Middle East. And it was established in 312 BC, making it one of the oldest cities in the world. And this, if you see here in the pictures, it kind of looks like a little castle in the side of the mountain, which I found to be really interesting for being that old, how they knew how to carve that type of building, that architecture at that period of time. And this little building castle was built by a nomadic group of people back during the time called the Nabateans. Does anybody know what the word nomad means?
have no clue what.
Anyone know what a nomad is? It's okay if you don't. So a nomad is basically someone who doesn't stay in a single place for a long period of time. He's always moving. A nomad is always moving from place to place. And so a group of nomads called the Nabateans back in 312 BC, they built this monument that has been a part of the Middle East and Jordan for a long period of time. And so Petra was first discovered by a Swiss explorer named Johann Ludwig Burckhardt in 1832. And it was unknown for so long that it got the nickname of the Lost City. I don't know if anybody here has watched Indiana Jones movies, but in this,
I have.
Petra is actually one of the Indiana Jones movies.
Me too.
I have to.
Nice. Raise your hand if you've seen Indiana Jones.
Oh yeah.
I think it's a crowd favorite.
And so in this movie, in Indiana Jones, Petra is displayed as portrayed as having gold or treasure inside of it that Indiana Jones kind of has to navigate through booby traps and things like that to get to this treasure. However, in real life, Petra is actually a burial site where the Nabateans buried their people at. So unfortunately, there's no gold in Petra, but instead it's basically a big graveyard.
Wow, that's some interesting information. Inside scoop there with tour guide Matthew. Thank you. And as you guys see, we have a link to another video here, which is really cool, but we're not going to watch it together here today because we're running out of time. So we'll send this PowerPoint out to everyone afterwards, and you can check them out on your own time with whichever wonder you're most interested in learning more about. So moving right along, oh, we've got Machu Picchu up next.
Cute.
All right, I'll be your tour guide for this one, Machu Picchu. Now, Machu Picchu is down in the Cusco region of Peru. And you may think of llamas when you think of Machu Picchu. That's pretty iconic for this wonder. And what it's mostly known for is all of the stonework and how precise it was. Each stone laid across each stone and all fitted together. So this is thought to have been built around 1438 AD. And I have some pictures to share with you, as well as a short video, because I was able to travel there last summer and have a tour taking the Inca Trail to reach Machu Picchu. And so I have some pictures that I took to share with you. This is part of Machu Picchu. Just like we said with Chichen Itza, it's not just the pyramid that we saw, it's the whole span. It's basically a city in and of itself. And this was hidden amongst the trees. It had been forgotten after the Spanish had invaded and the Inca had deserted it, or really there weren't any Inca really left. And so this became forgotten, except for to some local farmers and then Hiram Bingham, who found it in the early 1900s. And then cleared the paths of all the trees that had fallen over it. So this is what they depict. This is what they say it probably was like back in that time. These were homes basically that people lived in, and they stored their crops. They had windows, and they've kind of redesigned this kind of roofing that they have with hay. You can see all this stonework and how well it's fit together. Some of these stones are huge, massive stones, and it's hard to imagine moving them without the modern day equipment that we have today. But they're so tightly fitted together, all of these giant stones. You can see right here is where they've added on to reconstruct or add in what was missing. But this is not the original work. Everything below here was the original work. There's a big difference between those two sets of stones. And here's the city itself. So a lot of stairs leading up into the mountains. This was built on the side of a mountain, which is very unusual and very difficult. Kind of like the Great Wall of China. Many people lost their lives while building this. And these are the mountains that it was settled in. So about the llamas, they're actually not supposed to be in this part of the country because the elevation is too low for them. So they're actually having problems with the llamas getting pretty sick at this elevation of 6,000 feet, when really they belong at a higher elevation. But tourists love to see the llamas, and so they have remained in Machu Picchu. You can see they have courtyards and they have plants. Here's one of those llamas eating some grass. I know, it's pretty cute.
That's lovely.
Yeah. There was a lot with religion and astrology here, and I'll just play a short clip of this video about these pools of water that you see.
Just
And the
wanted to
rituals they
see the
have.
constellations and the movements of the moon, so they came here to see the reflection of them instead to do this. So believe me, after 10 minutes you will get a sore leg. So better to do this to see the constellations here. Everybody right here, yes. When you see your mirror to your driving, objects are appear closer than they are. So the same effect you see here. That means you see constellations here closer than they are. Yes, yes. Do you remember about 2 weeks ago was eclipse? Yeah. Yes. The archaeologist in charge, he saw the eclipse here instead to see the eclipse there.
So what he's saying, this was my guide Vlad. He said he saw the eclipse here in these pools of water from the sky that reflected down, and it was perfectly still and perfectly clear. So that was the purpose behind these pools of water. Okay, I will stop with Machu Picchu with that, and we'll move on to our next wonder, which is Christ the Redeemer in Brazil.
So, you guys, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Christ the Redeemer. And like Michelle said, it's in Brazil. It's right in Rio de Janeiro. And you can see that it's way up on this hill, and it's looking down right over the city. So, a couple really cool things about this is that because it's so tall and it sits up on this mountain, that it actually gets struck by lightning a lot. So I want us to see a little bit of that really quickly in our video, just so you guys can see that, because it's really remarkable kind of what they've done to take care of this statue and then what they have to do to repair it. So Michelle, let's see if we have time for just about a minute of this video. And then we'll move on. But you guys, while we're getting that pulled up, this is, it's the tallest Art Deco statue in the entire world. And it's basically 124 feet tall. And from fingertip to fingertip, right? He has his arms stretched out. It's 92 feet wide. So let's see a little bit more.
Familiar with the iconic statue of Christ the Redeemer, which overlooks Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. It's visited by nearly 2 million people a year. It's a statue that's recognized pretty much anywhere in the world and is truly one of a kind. This statue was created by Paul Landowski, who's a French sculptor. It was then built by Brazilian engineer Heitor da Silva Costa, along with French engineer Albert Caquot. The statue is 98 feet tall, which doesn't include the 26-foot pedestal it stands on. The arms alone stretch out to 92 feet wide. Well, the statue is often struck by lightning and constantly being repaired from the damages. The statue sits atop a very tall mountain that peaks at 2,300 feet. The Corcovado Mountains overlook the entire city of Rio de Janeiro and is prone to harsh and extreme elements. In 2012, the statue underwent a full makeover costing $4 million. It was erected in 1931. Since its restoration in 2010, the statue has already been struck by lightning roughly 25 times, causing a lot of damage. There are many awesome photos that have been captured of the statue being struck by lightning. This perfectly timed photo actually damaged the thumb and finger, requiring repairs. The workers have to suspend themselves over 125 feet in the air above a steep mountainside. I'm sure the view at the top of the statue is absolutely amazing, and it probably makes your stomach sink just a little bit, even if you aren't afraid of heights. You can tell just how long the arms are when there's an average-sized man resting on top. Repairs were made to the face and the chest of the Redeemer statue, as well as the hands. More lightning rods were also added to
So
prevent
you
major
guys,
damage.
we'll stop there and we'll make sure that you guys get this. But can you imagine being up on top of the head or climbing out on one of those arms? Whew! I definitely think it would be pretty scary. So, and as we move into our next one, you know, and the last thing that I'll say is they were talking about, they actually put what's called lightning rods into the statue in hopes that it won't get struck at least as many times. All right, let's move on to the Colosseum.
Righty, so the Colosseum was built right in the center of Rome, Italy. It was built by Roman Emperor Vespasian, who founded the Flavian dynasty. Because of this, the amphitheater was originally called, the Colosseum actually was originally called the Flavian Amphitheater. And I don't know if you can see in the pictures, but on the top of the Colosseum, part of it is actually destroyed because throughout the years, as different empires have taken control of Rome, they have actually used some of the materials of the Colosseum into other things as well to help build other structures in the city. So I thought that was something that was pretty interesting because there are pictures, as you'll see in the next slide, of the Colosseum being fully constructed. But however, as the years have gone by, it has become more and more ancient, I guess is the word to say.
Very cool.
So yeah, you can see there on the top picture, the picture or the side on the left is what it originally looked like. And now the picture on the right with the more destruction to it is a result of the different changes of power that have gone on in Rome that have kind of depleted it from its original construction. So the Colosseum has up to 80 entrances and can hold up to 50,000 spectators, which is a lot. Kind of similar to some arenas today, or maybe even bigger than that. They're actually underneath the Colosseum. There are many underground passages, and if on the bottom picture, that circle that you see at the in the middle, that's where the different gladiators, that's where they fought, and there are different rocks inside there that actually kind of make it look like a maze. So just imagine having to fight in a maze, trying to find your opponent, and just how challenging that could be.
Absolutely. Thanks, Matthew. So again, you guys, there's another video here that we encourage you to watch when we send this PowerPoint out.
Oh, my parents went there just the other year.
Oh,
Joel?
Yeah, my parents have seen a lot of these 7 wonders.
They have seen a lot in general, Rachel. They are world travelers for sure.
And they're currently in Costa Rica right now.
Nice. Well, you guys, I think that was number 6, which means one more.
Oh, my mom
number
went to Taj Mahal too.
Love it, Rachel.
That's awesome.
Oh, I need to travel with your mom.
However, this was in the 80s. Most of these travels were in the 80s. So
It's still pretty cool though.
yeah, it is.
All right, so this is the Taj Mahal. As you can see there, there's this grand building, which is actually a tomb, or what they call a marble mausoleum. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right.
Mausoleum,
Which is located in India, in the city of Agra. Originally, an emperor named Shah built this tomb for his wife.
Wow.
Which now he's also buried in as well. This originally cost $827 million, which is current money. So back then, that was a lot of money for just, especially in that area. They have many gardens also in that area, as you saw in the video. And those 4 little tower things that's surrounding it, there are 4 pillars called minarets. And if they would fall, they would actually fall away from the tomb or away from the building. And it was actually designed like that to keep him and his wife protected, which I thought was pretty cool. It's also all made of marble, so that helps too with any sort of destruction. There's 3 main gates to the Taj Mahal, and each one of these actually has its own structure as well, and its own unique structure. And Michelle, if you would like to click on that first link, we can actually just go to the official website of it. And this is just the overview of it for their website. This is including like your tickets and visiting hours. They also have night viewings, which you can go there at nighttime and explore. There's also similar attractions nearby that they have. A ticket to get in is only $20, but for locals, it's only $5, which I thought was kind of interesting.
nice.
And I believe
Pretty
if you go
amazing
back
looking
to
cover.
the slide, there might be a little video if we have time. If we don't, that's okay.
I think we'll just leave people on the edge of their seat so that they can go back and watch as they have time, since we are indeed over our time once again. You guys, you know, it's just so hard for us to squeeze it all in this Explorer Club meeting because there's so much to explore and so much to see.
I mean, especially with these cool 7 wonders. I mean, sign me up.
And something else for you to know is that there are the 7 wonders of the ancient world, which really center more around Egypt and the Middle East, versus these 7 wonders of the modern world, which span the entire world. So there's so much to explore with the wonders, and even the number 7 has a lot of sacred meaning to it. So with that, there you go. There's your brief, quick overview of the 7 wonders of the modern world. Does anyone want to add in something they thought that was maybe the coolest? Which wonder they think they'd like to explore most? Josh?
I think those pyramids in South America almost reminded me of how they had ant hills as well. Almost reminds me of Ant Hills.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I can see that.
There you go.
Mhm.
I'll say, I thought that the Taj Mahal, that picture that we saw from their website was pretty amazing. So it's made out of marble, so such expensive and heavy, right? Stone. So yeah, it looks pretty wild to me.
It did. Emily, did you want to share something? You're muted though. Go ahead and click your mute button at the bottom.
There we go. I like the Coliseum.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Same.
It had, I think, what was it, 80 entrances, Matthew?
That's right, 80.
Wow,
Whoa.
A lot
that's
of entrances.
Yeah.
It sure could hold a lot of people, that's for sure.
Could you imagine one of our modern like stadiums being as big as the Coliseum? Wow.
No, Rachel, I couldn't imagine having to stand in the bathroom line either. That's a lot of people to go to a sporting event, you know?
Right.
I don't know that they had the modern day bathrooms that we have now.
I don't think so.
History.
My mom's tour guide said when they went to the Coliseum, they used the Coliseum for a lot of different like award ceremonies, or they use it a lot today.
Multi-purpose at this point.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, Michelle,
Yes, Kendall.
do you remember when we watched the roller coaster videos? I still remember that, and I was like, my brain's still like going crazy. with it. Ugh.
That's right. For
Ugh.
anyone who missed the meeting last week, we explored roller coasters of the world.
Yeah,
We went on
Dang.
some different virtual roller coaster rides together, and it was, I felt a little queasy too. There was a lot of
Function, yeah, that.
Ups and
Me and
downs
Matthew
twists
are on
and
the same
turns.
page. Nope. Me and Matthew, nope.
Bunch of this.
Right, Matthew?
Don't worry, I can take your place.
That's right. We have people on both extremes. So as we wrap up here today, because we are out of time, we also have an announcement for you here in the club. So as we've said, we've been in here for a year in our virtual exploring. We started as the hiking club. Now we've gone to exploring all these different things around the world. We've covered a lot of ground.
Yes, we did.
And it is time to bring it to an end. So our Explorers Club meetings, we
So
only
sad.
have one more next week.
Next week.
That's right. Next week will be our last Explorers Club meeting. However, all of these meetings that we've done have been recorded and they've been saved on our YouTube channel. So you can go back and watch them again anytime you want to. And this is happening as we start to transition back into what was our pre-COVID normal, that we'll be wrapping this up and moving on with our lives.
Amen.
I can't wait. Woohoo!
Amen.
So
Yay!
stay tuned as information comes out about that. It'll definitely be a slow transition. But we also hope that you can make it next week for the last session that we have together, the last meeting.
I'll be there. I have a meeting at 12:30, but I'll be there.
I'll be there.
I'll be there.
All right.
I have a meeting, but I'll be there.
Wonderful,
I can't wait to see all of you.
We need to have a party. That's what we need to have, y'all.
Yeah, we need a party.
Celebrate.
I know. We
Go
love
with
to
the girls.
party.
Go with you.
That's when we did an exercise. We did
I'll
this.
help Elaine out again like I used to do at the zoo. That was great.
That's right.
I can't wait to see all your faces again in real life.
I'm going home next Thursday. I can't wait.
Oh, nice, Alyssa.
My mom gets her second shot tomorrow.
Yahoo!
Shoot. My brother's coming in town. I'm happy.
Good.
I'm
I
hoping
have
we'll be
another-
able.
I have another exciting announcement. My roommate is officially on the mend. Her treatments are working.
That is great news.
That is great news, Rachel. Josh?
I'm just looking forward to getting to do the talent shows again.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Just can't wait for us to go back and how we should have a party.
I know, you guys. It's coming. It's coming. We're getting there. So for now, we're going to have to let you go. And we hope that you have a great rest of your day, of your Tuesday. If we have a few other programs going on this week, we hope that we'll see you then for one or more of them. And of course, next Tuesday for our last Explorers Club meeting.
And yoga.
It's been
So
fun.
until
Thank you,
then,
guys.
it's great to see everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. So you guys, as always, if you have any questions, stay on. But we know that some people need to go since we're already over. But until next week, keep exploring.
Be on the lookout for this PowerPoint
Bye.
from today if you want to explore more of the 7 wonders on your own time.
Can't wait for yoga next.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
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 Bye.